Well, good afternoon from that's Aberfeldy. I'm just back from Aberfeldy. I've just pulled into Amoree. What time is it? Oh, what a surprise. I just noticed that as I got my camera out and I thought, quick, get on the show, Andrew. It's almost like an actual live broadcast, which is always kicks off at 10 to 2. It's I can't put words to it. It's just bizarre. I need to put it off. I was going to load this thing. I was over there on that bench on, what day is this? Monday. That would be Saturday. I'm sure it was Saturday. Maybe Friday. I don't know. I lost track of days. And I literally was sitting with a cigarette. I was doing a pose for the camera, but I looked so fucking awful. I decided not to use the footage. However, in saying so, I decided I would use the last part where it's so obvious. I've just looked at my watch and I've raced over to the car to highlight the fact that the watch was saying 10 minutes to 2. It's absolutely bizarre. I have given it a wee bit of thought, and what I'm actually thinking, the mind is a very complex thing, as you know. And if you're I can remember when I was, when when I was a 17-year-old stuff, and I was really 17, 18-year-old, and really life was athletics, but running, and everything was done in almost a clockwork basis, day after day after day. Training for a race, and I remember how much the body actually adapts to the to these times. You don't need a clock, you don't need anything, but so if, for example, you go to the toilet at a certain time every day, you don't need a clock to tell you when to go. Your body starts to go into this routine on its own. That applies to, strict sleeping patterns, even to the point of, when you should be eating and stuff like that. Everything in the body starts to become routine. So the mind, what I'm saying is, I'm starting to think that there's no magic involved in this anymore. It's simply the mind has now created its own formula, and it's simply a case of when I go to look at my watch or clock, it is always going to say 10 to 2 or 10 past 10 or 20 to 4 or 20 past 8. And that is because the body has now got into that sequence over the last few weeks and months, and this has now become regular place. It's not 20 to 2, it wasn't 25 past 1 or 5 to 1, it's 10 to 2. I can't judge a journey from anywhere to be at a particular spot at exactly a given time. I'm sure if you watched my King's House upload, you would have seen that how unusual it is to walk into premises just at the same given time. Anyway, I won't hark on about 10 to 2. I've probably said enough about that situation. I do not want to bore you. But I was having quite a subdued, I think the weather of the weekend had, I think yesterday especially, but I was absolutely over the moon about some correspondence, not correspondence, some communication. I was very pleased to hear something of the outcome. Well, it's a half-half story because, quite simply, Um, it's never 100% good, but one part of the equation was certainly great to hear, but the second part was not, because it perhaps if I was to say, yeah, I mean, let's go back to that in a second, because what I'm thinking is how I got up this morning about 6:30, and I seem to be in a very emotional pond in my brain, and I can only put that down to the impact of the darkness. Because normally in the morning I'm usually quite of high spirits quite quickly, because I've survived into a new day. Everybody who goes to sleep and wakes up in the morning should also celebrate they've got a new day in life to do something with. But it certainly comes from the experiences of being outdoors. When the darkness surrounds you and you cannot wait for daylight. This morning I was spending some time, I don't think it was a great idea to do it in that particular frame of mind, but I started to look through some of the old letters and correspondence from my very dear up and down friend. These are vintage letters and postcards and bits and pieces, and I found from my examination of these letters just how much love and joy was being celebrated when she was obviously putting pen to paper. Quite remarkable. And I do feel the times when, on receipt of these letters, all these various addresses, all over a huge time span, these are wonderful, charming letters from the heart. And I do certainly recall the overwhelming anticipation on looking at the envelope, some with international stamps upon them and airmail and such like. But I remember just receiving the letters and opening them, and that feeling of reading someone's heart at a given moment. It was such joy. These letters were certainly penned in different times. It feels like a long time ago now, but they're still very important to me, and I certainly, when I can look at these letters as I was this morning, I can remember immediately where I was, quite concisely. I had read them previously at some point, but unfortunately I'd put them into the wrong envelopes on the return to the box, and they appear rather muddled now, but I still remember them. Times. But Up and Down have been in contact. Yesterday there was a double celebration, as I said. There was a celebration on the fact that I suppose you could call it a double celebration because she'd taken the time to inform me of a family situation, let's put it that way. But she also informed me of a rather disappointing element to this family reunion, because a gift which has been so carefully and specially gift wrapped with such tender care and love had vanished into thin air, gone, as if the whole as if it was a figment of my imagination that this had ever occurred, on the swapping of the gift. And perhaps I should tell you a little more. It was probably about 12 years ago. No. It was probably about 10 years ago. And it was 10.5 years ago, because I remember quite clearly the publishers of the book sending me the very first copy off the press. And I took that book and I signed it. And I took it down to one of Up and Down's relatives. And I said could you make sure that Up and Down gets this book of mine, because I think she'd be rather interested to read it. Of course, her relative said, of course, absolutely, I'm sure she'd be delighted with it. Thank you very much. And of course, the book was never given to Up and Down, and I don't know what happened to it. I think it went in the bin. I do think that our family have a very rich way of recycling gifts. I mean, for example, 10 years later, I decided that it was quite silly that this gift had not turned up. So I decided I should give her the same gift. And this gift was wrapped in the most beautiful, absolutely beautiful, fine paper. A very, very nice green and gold, and I didn't use sellotape, perhaps a little. A little sticky tape to keep it together, but inside the paper was a very, very nicely worded letter. I'm sure there was. And but certainly there was a lovely card. A card that I'd purchased in the summer of 2021 and kept hold of because it was so pretty. And I used that in order to convey my appreciation of Up and Down. And I travelled considerable distance to ensure that this gift would eventually come into Up and Down's possession. And of course I travelled and I spoke to the person. I said, would you mind, very nice to meet you and stuff like that. And I said, would you mind next time you see Up and Down, could you give her this lovely gift? And she said, oh yes, of course. Absolutely. Thank you very much. That's very thoughtful of you. And how is it you know Up and Down? And I told her some of the information that she was looking for. And I said, oh yes, I think I very, very much know you. You're a very nice chap, I believe. I said, yes, that's correct. And anyway, the the gift also did not make its way to up and down. It was very, very frustrating to hear this, I have to say. I was feeling rather upset. Such a beautiful gift, not once but twice. And very saddened last night. I was feeling very off colour over the whole event, and I thought, let's not get ourselves down too much. I said, up and down's obviously telling you something very important, and don't be mixing it up with something negative. And I said to myself, well, yes, I think that's true. I said, I'm very pleased for the situation, but where the hell's my present? And then I began to think about the up and down and all her relatives. I mean, up and down's exactly the same. How many times have I said, I give her a gift and she puts it in the recycle bin. Beautiful clothes, lovely books and pictures, lovely letters, all handwritten, and they all go in the recycle bin. And of course, it's not entirely restricted to up and down, I believe now. It's very, very strange to say this, but it obviously runs in the family, so to speak, that as soon as they have a gift, it must go in the recycle bin. If it comes from me. And I must say, it was very peculiar behaviour. I was thinking to myself, perhaps it's worth considering what might happen on a festive season, perhaps on Christmas Day, when the family are all gathered together and, here's a present from Uncle George. Oh, thank you. What is it? I don't know. Put it in the bin. Perhaps it's, look what Auntie Margaret's got us. Oh, that's fabulous. Put it in the recycle bin. I really do think that we should put haul through the recycle bin, and we'll put all the presents and gifts from everybody into the bin. We won't even bother opening them. And who's this from? Oh, sling that too. If it doesn't fit in the bin, give it to the charity shop. That will do. Especially if it looks like a book. If it's anything to do with a book, put it in the bin or put it in a charity shop. And put any books here. I don't care if it's signed by the author. I don't care. And what do you mean he's in a DVD? What are they talking about? He's not an actor. He's a damn fool. Oh, he is an actor. Well, put it in the bin. I don't want to bloody watch it. Sling it in the recycle bin. If it's anything to do with it, put it in the bin. What's that anyway? It's a letter. Who's it for? It's for up and down. Oh, put it in the bin. Oh, goodness me. I don't know. I did find it very, 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 very disturbing to find it. So all my efforts have gone in vain. And I just felt to myself, oh, why? There's so much care and tension and love and time and I thought to myself, it's 300 miles there, 300 miles back, 600 miles round trip just to deliver a damn present. I didn't find it that way on the day. I was wanting to give the gift. I didn't know where up and down was, and she didn't get in touch. And I was very, very concerned that she was never going to get this lovely book. It saddens me. When people are so forgetful. If somebody came to my door and said, hello. Oh, hello. Would you mind giving this gift to your friend? Or your family member? Well, of course. Absolutely. Of course I will. And who shall I say it from? Oh, right, okay. Ah, very nice chap, isn't he? Oh, yes. Why don't you put it somewhere safe, and when they pop round next, you'll know exactly where it is. Well, that's a great idea. And what happens if I put it in the recycle bin by an error?